Welcome to the ThunderCast, your Marshall Athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans, with your hosts, Russ Livingood and KD Hugnall. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week, so keep it right here. The ThunderCast is on the loose. Thanks for downloading another episode of the ThunderCast. You can follow us on Twitter at ThunderCast_pod. You can watch the show on the ThunderCast YouTube channel. Listen to us anywhere you like to consume your podcasts. It's KD and Russ back with you for another Dead Meat Society Marshall football preview. I got to say right out of the gate, Russ, I've had a week to take a breath. I've had a week to chill, and feels pretty good to head back into game week. I hope a lot of the fan base is sharing those sentiments. They're ready. They had a reset, and they're ready for like a breath of fresh air and a new week, a new kickoff. So it looks like this after a bye week, for some reason, it always feels like it's a good opportunity to start the season again. You know, you got extra time to get healed up if you can and work on some things. And this is going to be a tough game coming in, but I think the bye week came at a pretty good time. We certainly needed it after the way the last one went down. So we got Old Dominion coming to town, and this is a team we've had a lot of success with in the past, but the past is the past, the present is now, and they are finally a pretty tough team to contend with in the 2025 season. So we got a lot to talk about. We're going to give you all the players and who's and what's, when, where's, and why's in this Dead Meat Society Marshall football preview. But we can't do any of it until we pay a couple of bills with a word from our sponsors at Leasure Oliver PLLC.
Who do you call if you are ever hurt in a wreck? If you live anywhere in West Virginia, Ohio, or Kentucky, that's Leasure Oliver PLLC. You can find them at 304carwreck.com.
All right, man, let's talk about Old Dominion Monarchs, Marshall Thundering Herd, going down this Saturday, October 11th, a 3:30 p.m. kick. It's going to be a gorgeous day in Huntington, West Virginia, 72 and sunny. You can't beat that for an early to / mid-October. Man, it's going to be a great one. There is absolutely zero reason to not be inside Jones C. Edwards Stadium come 3:30 on Saturday. If you can't make the trip, though, like me, you're going to have to watch the game on ESPN+. But, you know, if you can make it, you should make it. This will be the 11th all-time meeting between the Herd and the Monarchs. Russ, Herd owns a 9-1 all-time series record, and they are 5-0 in Huntington, West Virginia. The only win that Old Dominion got in the series so far is in 2016, Marshall's lowly 3-9 year. I won't say there are a lot of similarities between that team and this team, but there are some things that we still need to get right, and we're getting into a little deep into the season to still be trying to get things right. Old Dominion's already figured out a lot of things, and they're pretty good. So if you're going off of history, you need to close the history book and look at what's going on in 2025, because they're a front runner in the conference for a reason. ESPN matchup predictor Russ does not like the Herd. Big time home dog, just a 20.8% chance to win for the Herd. Marshall's plus 14.5 with an over-under of 55. Now, with those numbers and particulars out of the way, how you seeing this one?
This is when you dive into the numbers, the stats, rankings, all that. It's more than a daunting task. It feels like, are these numbers real? And when we get into them, I mean, some of them are just downright gaudy. And the rankings on where they're at, they could have played what I feel like would be a tougher schedule to get to 4-1. But when even you look at their ESPN strength of schedule ranking, it's like 41 or something like that. So they've had an amazing year. Their offense is just clicking right now. The defense, the offense, everything just absolutely decimated Coastal. And this just looks like a game that we are going to have to play close to perfect football.
I've kind of felt the same way. During the course of my preparation, I uncovered some things that, of course, made me raise my eyebrows a little bit, because I knew Old Dominion was good, but I thought, damn, they're that good? And when you go back, and I'm going to read the schedule to let everybody know how they got to 4-1. And you may be right. They could have probably played a little bit tougher of a schedule, but it's not that bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's just some of the teams, and they have no, they can't say 5 years ago when some of these games were scheduled, hey, I hope that team's good this year. You wouldn't think Coastal would be at the level they're at right now, as poorly as they've played so far this year. Virginia Tech is down, or at least was during those first 3 games, and they caught them at the right time. But they played an ACC school and a Big Ten school, so it's not like they played cupcakes. It's just I don't know. We'll get into it. Go ahead with the schedule. I've got some more after you say that.
Yeah, well, right out of the gate, let's talk about Virginia Tech. Old Dominion's had success with Virginia Tech. This isn't a one-off. They've had some pretty good success with them over the past few years. And then, Liberty is probably the team that you thought would be better than they actually are this year because they've been good for the past number of years, kind of historically a little bit over the past 5, 6 years. Coastal Carolina is the game you're going to play anyway, so you can't really, what are you going to do? You get North Carolina Central, which is kind of everybody's FCS game, and they had no trouble with North Carolina Central. But, yeah, you open the season on the road in Bloomington against top 25 Indiana. They played them pretty tough. I mean, it's 27-14. It was a tight-ish loss because Indiana's a pretty good team. And even in that game, Colton Joseph might have been held in check through the air, but he lit it up on the ground in that one. And then some of the things we're going to talk about. So, yeah, they're 4-1. The only loss really is the one that you would have expected them to lose if you're the casual fan looking at the schedule and you go, okay, they're a top 25 team, probably going to lose that one on the road. Even if you're a casual fan and you think, okay, you're probably going to lose Virginia Tech too because that one also was on the road in Blacksburg, but they had really no problem. I mean, you put up 45 against the Hokies. This is a pretty good team. So I got no problem really with the schedules they played to get there. I mean, it's no worse than what we've done to be where we're at.
It's no worse. It's better, I think, than ours because they've played, Virginia Tech and, but here's what I'm going to say. They scored on the first play of the game against Indiana on a 75-yard run by Colton Joseph. All right. And then after that, it was 27-7 until 6 minutes and 53 seconds left in the game. So, yeah, they scored again, and 27-14, kind of held them down because Indiana's offense is amazing this year. But they were, except for that one run, they were down 27-7 and didn't have a lot to show for it until they're late in the game. And Joseph got a 78-yard run on that. So 2 rushes for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns, But other than that, they did not have that great of a game. It's one of those, I mean no disrespect to ODU when I say this, but that 27-14, it wasn't really as close as that. They got that second touchdown with under 7 minutes left in the game, and they were still down 2 scores. So the other thing, though, they've played some teams when they're down. Liberty's down, even with Liberty having a horrible schedule. When they play anyone with a soul, they usually get beat, and this was it. But they handled Coastal, they handled Liberty, and they handled Virginia Tech. That one was not as close as the score looked. They were up big, and Virginia Tech added a couple on. They have taken care of business. So schedule be damned. They're a great football team, and it's not like their schedule's even bad. I'm just saying, it looks like, well, Liberty's down, Coastal's down. They had an FCS game. It's like it's diminishing what they've done so far in a way, if that makes sense, because people could point at that, and mainly the voters, and go, well, look, anybody can beat Liberty this year. Anybody can beat Coastal this year, and that. I feel like they've been hurt from that. So I mean no disrespect to ODU. That's where I'm getting at with their schedule has probably made it look like they're not as good as what they really are, which is good.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say this to be argumentative at all, but it's really going to make it seem like I'm kind of supporting Old Dominion in this one, but I'm not. It's like they're a team that's taking care of business. They're winning the games they should win, and they've won a game that somebody or many people probably thought they weren't going to win. And we're not doing that.
Right.
You know, we let one slip away at home. We let one slip away on the road.
Yeah.
And that's a difference a lot of times in who wins a championship in a conference and who doesn't, who wins the games they're supposed to win. And right now they're doing it and we're not. So
we are not.
That's why a bye week was a great thing to have happen, because maybe some of that shifted a little bit, and they're due for a letdown game. A lot of people seem to think that Old Dominion will not give Marshall the appropriate amount of attention this week because they're looking ahead to that big showdown with James Madison next week. I hope that's happening. I hope they are not paying attention to the herd. I don't think that it is. That's what the case is, because this seems like a team that's focused and winning, and they're kind of on a roll. You know, you're 4 straight wins right now, and you want to keep it rolling, because a loss to Marshall, it's not like it won't ruin your season, but now all of a sudden you'll be 1-1 in conference instead of 2-0, and that record doesn't feel as good. But nonetheless, this preview for the Old Dominion and Marshall game is brought to you by the Dead Meat Society, as they're bringing to you all Marshall football game previews this season on the ThunderCast. So if you are into that tailgating, cooking type vibe, looking to get into that community and that type of lifestyle, the number one place you should start your journey is at deadmeatsociety.com. You can sign up for their free newsletter that comes out weekly, the Dead Meat Spam. It is completely free. You'll be able to get all kinds of great information, recipes, join the community over there. You can trade knowledge, gear reviews, all that cool stuff, man. Like I'm thinking about taking on a new hobby, and I wish I could tell Jake and the guys that it is grilling and cooking, but I don't have the patience for that, you know, and that really takes a lot of patience. And I've found myself over the past few weeks just binge watching so many videos on YouTube and things like that. So the Dead Meat Society is a great place for folks to start their journey. I know that is more up your alley. So talk to me, and we'll talk to everybody else a little bit more about the Dead Meat Society.
Yeah, you've called it a lifestyle brand, and Jake, the chief grilling officer, Jake Coons, he agrees with you. You know, if you think about someone think of Kyle Walker, you know, that has done a lot at our tailgates and things. You know, he's constantly doing stuff, cooking outdoors, cooking indoors. This is right up his alley. There are people watching this and listening to this that do more of the same, you know, that they're like, man, I can't wait to grill when I get home this evening. Or they'll plan, you know, for the weekends, like, I'm going to have some people over. We're going to watch the game in the backyard, and I'll have the smoker going. You know, think of the people that, you know, have the cookware that they have had passed down from whenever to whenever in their kitchen. This is for those people. So you don't have to have a smoker that you pull behind a truck. You don't have to have, you know, the biggest pizza oven that's outdoors that costs, you know, thousands of dollars. You just have to want to cook. Either you want to watch it to try to get better, or you're already doing it and you want to try to get better, but also share with others. You know, there's 2 different things over on Facebook. You know, we didn't talk about this a lot. And to be honest, I didn't even realize this until very recently, but there are 2 different things on Facebook. One's a group and one's a page. The page is where they're sharing all of the information. So that's where you want to go. You want to follow that page, but you want to join the group, and that's where you share your information and you're sharing your things. Like if I'm going to throw down some cheesesteaks on the grill, you know, I may take a short video or some photos of step by step, and, you know, talk about what kind of cheeses that I use or how I get my shaved beef, you know. That's the sort of thing that you'll get on that group page over there. So there's a page and a group, and you want to join both.
Yeah, it's really awesome. We've got something we're going to play for you here to help drive home what the Dead Meat Society is all about. But once again, go over to deadmeatsociety.com. Just check out the page. I saw some I don't know what you call not proofs, prototypes maybe of the cookware, the grillware that they're coming out with. Looks really cool, very, very on brand. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
he
of
had
course that's intentional.
They were T1 samples is what they were, and he got those from the production line. That way he can look at them, make some corrections and modifications, and get those. But they're coming out very, very soon, and man, they're slick.
Yeah, go hit it.
Ever since the discovery of fire, mankind has gathered around it to prepare food. And today we enjoy fellowship with family, friends, and even strangers as we cook and grill. At home on the weekends, at tailgates for sporting events, and just by ourselves to find inner peace. We have holidays centered around the custom of grilling. And now there is a society for those of us who like to grill, who stay up all night to get that smoke ring just right, who share their gifts with others. The Dead Meat Society is here. Flame, family, community, feed everyone.
All right, man, let's get back into this game preview because it's a big one. This means a lot for Marshall, I think, to kind of not just win a football game, but kind of try to turn the season around and gain a little bit of momentum. And of course, since this is a Sun Belt Conference matchup, the first game against Louisiana, we didn't have this in time. We thought the injury report was going to come out earlier on Wednesday, so we decided, hey, we need to push till Friday for our shows. So let's go over the injury report for Old Dominion and the Herd. Old Dominion's injury report. Now, remember, I should say this can be augmented and updated on Saturday on game day. But for right now, this is what you're looking at. Old Dominion has 8 guys listed on the injury report. 6 of them are listed as out. You have 1 doubtful and 1 questionable. The 6 players listed as out: offensive lineman Connor Drake, offensive lineman William Go, defensive lineman Gavin Harrison, inside linebacker Koa Nautala, inside linebacker Ladarius Adams, and outside linebacker Mario Thompson. Doubtful wide receiver Sidney Mbasner, and questionable defensive lineman DeAndre Lynch. The Herd has 5 listed. All are listed as out. Defensive back Al Ashford, outside linebacker Rashawn Carr, inside linebacker Jalen Marshall, offensive lineman Morgan Scott, and for the second consecutive game, running back Joshawn Barbie. That's a big
third straight game.
Well, on the injury report is what I meant. So third straight game, but second time on the injury report. So another big loss in the ground, or a continued big loss in the ground game, but we've seen Mike Allen really pick up the slack and really take hold of that RB1 position. And of course, CDRW has no problem running the football either. Let's talk about some of the players, though, for Old Dominion. Generally, Russ, I feature 4 guys, but as I got into the stats, it really looked like I had to feature 3 wide receivers. So we have 5 guys today. And of course, it's going to start with number 1, the quarterback, Colton Joseph, 6'2", 200-pound sophomore, kind of crushing it this year. 81 out of 124 for 1,215 yards, 12 touchdowns against 4 interceptions. He's got a 65.3% completion percentage. Also, the team's leading rusher in an attempts standpoint, 52 carries on the year, 433 yards. Also, the leader on the ground in touchdowns with 5. Has a long of 78, like you mentioned earlier. Dude, that's 8.3 yards per carry from your quarterback. And he's the second leading rusher on the team. He's on, 18 yards? Something like that. 18 yards behind the leading rusher. So number 20, running back Triquan Jones is a 5'9", 183-pound junior. 48 carries for 451 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns, good for 9.4 yards per carry. Now we're going to talk about a trio of wide receivers, and you kind of got to talk about all of them. Number 6 wide receiver, Ja'Cory Thomas, 6'3", 210. He's a junior, 19 receptions, leads the team in yards with 343 and 3 touchdowns in the air, good for 18.1 yards per reception. Number 2 wide receiver, Trey Brown III, 6'2", 180. He's a sophomore, 17 receptions, 302 yards, and a touchdown, good for 17.8 yards per reception. And number 7, the wide receiver, Naheem Abdul-Rahim Gladding, 6', 198 sophomore, leads the team in receptions with 22. He has 295 yards and leads the team in receiving touchdowns with 5. Good for 13.4 yards per reception. I'm going to run down a quick few stats, and then I'll let you play off of those. 36.2 points per game this offense is scoring, good for 34th and tied for 34th in the country. Whopping 498.4 total yards per game from this offense, good for 10th in the country. 247.4 passing yards per game is 55th. 251 rushing yards per game is 7th. 42.1% complete conversion percentage on third down is 59th. And a 27-minute time of possession ranks 119th. Dude, that tells me these guys score quickly. So,
yes.
What about this offense? Really, I don't know, has you worried?
Well, if all that doesn't have you worried, number 7 rushing in the country, 251 yards per game is enough. Would you care to guess where they rank as yards per carry?
Well, I mean, you got your top 2 rushers are pretty gaudy chunks. I'm going to say they're top 10.
They're top 10, and they're not the last 9. They're number 1 in the country. 6.78 yards per carry leads the country this year. Chunk plays galore. We talked about 2 of them in that first game from your quarterback, but they do it, not just the chunk plays on the ground. I know we're talking about rushing, but they just had a beautiful fake run, jump pass, kind of lob over the offense and defensive lines to a wide open, streaking, running full speed, catching the ball, running back. I think it was Hargrove out of the backfield for 80 yards untouched. I mean, no one was anywhere around him. And when you look at their offense on the receiving side of the ball, these would just be the top plays or yardage per player. So some of these may have multiples more than these, but along a 55, along a 49, along a 44, along a 80 that I just talked about to the running back, along a 36, along a 34, and then you got an 18 and a 17 in there. So, I mean, it's just chunk play, chunk play, chunk play, chunk play. Rushes 93 yards from one of their running backs, Jones, 78, and we know Joseph also had a 75, and it's not like that's the only 2 chunk plays he's had. And then you've got another one in there at 29 from Hargrove. So it's just like these guys are a threat to take it to the house. They're a threat to flip that field. And it's just a high-powered offense.
Yeah, that's the main concerning thing, is that going into the last game before the bye week, the Herd defense just got taken to the woodshed. And I don't know if you're going to be able to get enough things corrected through a bye week that's going to allow you to contain this high-powered offense. Of the broad strokes mismatches, running into this offense with where Marshall's defense left off is got to be the most concerning thing, without even diving into the games within the games.
I've got another couple things here for you too. You would hope that, well, maybe they're allowing a lot of sacks. They're not. They have given up 5 sacks on the year, tied for 19th in the country. They for tackles for loss allowed, 3.6 a game, tied for 13th in the country. I know they're a little banged up on their injury report with offensive line, but I mean, it's kind of just been what the Monarchists have said on their show. It's been next man up. They did that. We're getting ready to talk defense about that very same thing. But, I mean, it's just that's been it. Red zone scoring, get this, 22 trips to the red zone this year, 17 times they've scored, 6 rushing, 7 passing touchdowns, 4 field goals. They're getting 4.68 points every time they get in the red zone, and they're getting down there quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the kind of thing that's just you can tell. I'm not going to say this is their year, right? Because there's so much football to be played.
Sure.
But when things are clicking like this, when you're weathering injuries and it's next man up, and the next man up is actually performing, and things aren't really falling off, it feels like this might be your year. If I were an Old Dominion fan, I might feel really good about, like, man, like these are games probably we were losing over the past couple of years, and now we're winning them, and we're weathering the storm. And our all-time great linebacker medically or just retired from football, and they haven't missed a beat. They
Right.
have not missed a beat. So let's talk about this defense in this Dead Meat Society Marshall football preview. I've featured 4 guys. I've got 2 on the back end and 2 linebackers. We're going to start with number 12, safety, Jerome Carter, 6'1", 190-pound sophomore. He leads the team just about everything. Total tackles 37, solo tackles 20, and interceptions with 2. He also adds a pass defended to go with that. Then number 3, another safety, Mario Easterly, 6'1", 195-pound junior, 33 tackles, 8 solo, also has an interception, and also adds a pass defended. Number 34 linebacker Jahil Colbreth, 6'4", 222-pound junior, 30 total tackles, also 8 solo, and he adds a sack to his resume. And then number 4 linebacker Jeremy Mack Jr., 5'10", a 200-pound senior, 29 total tackles, 14 of those solo, 2 sacks on the year, 1 interception, 3 passes defended, and a forced fumble for good measure. They got a lot of guys making a lot of plays. So impact plays across this entire defense through 5 games, 14 sacks, 5 interceptions, 7 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries, and 23 passes defended. This is a pretty decent defense here, man. Let's talk about some of those stats. They're only giving up 14.6 points per game.
Yeah.
That's tied for 16th in the country. They're only allowing 314.2 yards per game. That's 35th in the country. 149 passing yards per game. That is 13th in the country, but it falls off the rails just a little bit. They're allowing 165 rushing yards per game. If you're a Marshall fan, that's got to make you feel good, but that's 103rd in the country. And then a 40% third down stop rate, tied for 80th. So what about this Monarchs defense?
Well, before that, I forgot one more demoralizing stat on offense.
Please.
Yeah. How about passing yards per completion? 14.55 every time they complete a pass. That's good for 11th in the country. So defense, they lost Henderson. Thought that their linebacking core with Mario Thompson and Henderson and Koatola, I think it's how I pronounce Noah Noatolo. He's been out all year. Mario Thompson had been out most of the year, and he got to play in a little bit in the last game. And I thought they were thinking that he was going to be back when I was listening to the Monarchs preview for this game, and now he's ruled out of this game. So they talked about, though, it's just been next man up, and they haven't missed a beat at all. With Colbreth and Mack Jr., I mean, it's just right in there. And then Seth Noatola. It's been a great defense that has been maybe their Achilles heel. Last year they had so many one possession losses, and it just seemed like they couldn't get that key stop. They couldn't do it against us when it was back and forth. Well, this year they're not having that problem. The offense is there, but the defense is also there, and that's what's made them so dangerous. I mean, trying to find an Achilles heel here, I don't know. They don't get a lot of sacks. I don't know. They've got let's see here. I'm trying to see. They've got team sack. No, they've got 14 sacks. They're tied for 22 in the country. I thought there was one of these on here that really leaped out to me, and there's just not that much. They have handled everybody. They gave up 189 total yards against Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how bad a team is down. That's 189 yards to an FBS program.
To a conference mate, to a division mate. You know, that's supposed to be the peerest of peer institutions, or the guys you share a division with. But ultimately, what you got to say about this Old Dominion team is that they're as well-rounded as I think they've ever been since the, what was the, I'm drawing a blank. All the guys, all of our friends, the Monarchists are like wanting to choke me right now because I can't think of the quarterback's name that was
Heineke.
Yes, there you go. Tyler Heineke. That was the last time I felt like they were a truly, really good, well-rounded team, and their record showed it. You know, and they've had good offenses, they've had good defenses, but they've never been able to really have both. They've kind of mired around that 500 team for the last long time. You know, a really long time. And now they're over that hump, at least early on in 2025. The statistics back it up. The play backs it up. They passed the eye test on a lot of things. This is just going to be a really, really tough game for the Herd. Not the only thing, but the biggest thing that they may have going for them is that they're going to have a Joan C. Edwards crowd to be playing in front of. And this game's not in Norfolk, or it would be even more of a tall task. So you just can't look at history and go, oh, we're 9-1 against them. Well, you know what? That history goes both ways. We played historically horrible down at Middle Tennessee State, and we went in there and got a win, right? So history is what history is. It's just, it's something you can look at. But in this era of college football, I don't know that matters as much as it used to.
I did see one. I finally saw where I had this marked here. The one kind of chink in the armor on the defense. They're 103rd in the country at 165.2 yards a game on the ground that they're giving up. But they're only giving up 3.93 yards per game, yards per attempt, and that's tied for 66th. And we are giving up 3.94 right there at 68. So it's just like they have a lot more teams rushing against them, is all it is, to give up that. It's not like they're giving up 103rd ranked yards per attempt. They just have a lot more attempts against them to get that yards per game that they're giving up. We cannot hope that we rush for 3.93 yards per attempt in this game and really do a lot. We need to be above 5, and they're just not doing it so far. When you look at red zone on them, they're tied for 6th in the country on the red zone percentage, 66.7. They've given up 10 scores in 15 attempts, only 3.87 points on average when someone gets in the red zone against them.
Yeah. Again, it's a really good team this year.
Yeah.
And it's not a favorable matchup. I know you're a matchups guy. And right now, when you try to find them, there just aren't enough to make you feel really, really good. It's like you go into this game and you go, okay, it's obvious that we are not in a favorable situation across a lot of the matchups that we like to look at. So you hope that there is a turnover situation that pops up. And there's these great equalizers, like the chunk play, the missed tackle, 80-yard touchdown, that, those kind of things that have happened to us this year. We need to get some of those to go our way to help us even out this mismatch. Let's talk about I only have one special teamer. I've got the place kicker, and then I want to get into our keys to victory. Number 94, the place kicker, Riley Callaghan, the 6'4", 200-pound senior. He's 6 of 9 on field goals with a long of 50. So he's got the leg. And 23 of 23 on extra points. So it's a pretty good kicker that you're going to go up against too. If you can manage to keep them out of the end zone, keep them pushed back a little bit, you still have a guy that can hit from distance. Now, how accurate will he be? Who knows? But he does have the leg to hit from 50. So not even a special teams kind of deal that you can, hope goes in your favor. It would make me feel a lot better if we were talking about a guy that was, 3 of 7 with a long of 35 or something like that, but that's not what we're looking at. So that's that. That's what we're looking at. That's who's coming to town. What's your number one key to victory?
I put contain and in parenthesis put stop with a bunch of question marks, Colton Joseph. Even in the lone loss, we said for ODU, he threw 3 picks, 96 yards, did not do much in that game through the air, but he had those 2 ridiculously long rushing touchdowns, 179 yards on only 10 carries.
Mm-hmm.
One of those carries was a negative play. It was a sack. So really he did all the damage on those 2 carries that we mentioned. But even when you contain him through the air and make him have a bad game, he torched him on the ground. So we have got to stop that guy. If you stop him, that's going to stop a lot of their rushing attack. If you stop him, that's going to stop their receivers who've had all those big chunk plays. So can we stop him? I don't know. Can we contain him? I still don't know, but that's got to be a number 1 key to victory for me.
Yeah, actually, it's my number 1 key to victory as well. Is I use the word limit. You're just trying to limit Colton Joseph because I'm not sure you're going to be able to slow him down. He's so in tune with what this coaching staff is doing this year. They're going to find ways to allow him to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. And here's the thing that impressed me while I was looking. I wasn't even diving deep into the stats, but he has passed for 250 yards and ran for 100 plus in 2 of their 5 games. And he has done one or the other in every single game. Mm-hmm. So it's not even a pick your poison type thing because he'll do both to you if you're not playing good defense. So limiting him is absolutely the biggest, number 1, not even a close second key to victory for the Herd. And if you're able to do that, so much of what this offense does runs through him. You may see a completely different Old Dominion team. Now, yes, I'm saying that as a Marshall fan who just played Louisiana, who had the 3rd-team quarterback come in and torch the shit out of us.
Yeah, on the ground and in the air.
I absolutely understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. It still stands to reason that if you can limit Colton Joseph, I'm not by any means like cheering for this to happen, but if he gets knocked out of the game early, you may be looking at a very different Old Dominion team. Now, I don't necessarily want that to happen from a nefarious standpoint. But football's football, right? Yeah. Football's football. But the guy is such a big weapon on their offense that getting rid of that weapon undoubtedly will massively affect this offense. The number 1 key to victory without a doubt. What's your number 2?
Put up points, and you have got to continue that trend of us scoring a lot under Carlos Del Rio Wilson since he has taken over as quarterback. But it sure looks like Old Dominion is going to put up points, so you've got to put up points too. You've got to be right there, and you've got to put up a bunch of points in this game. So, yes, we've been doing that. Yes, it's been on the defensive side of the ball that we haven't taken care of business, but putting up 31 in the first half with Carlos Del Rio Wilson, 42 in the next game, and then 51 or 41 in regular time. That's a lot of points that we've been scoring. We have got to continue that trend.
Yeah, I agree. And my actual number 2 key to victory is that Carlos Del Rio Wilson is going to need a Sun Belt Conference Offensive Player of the Week type performance in this game. One note I would like to make is, when you look at the numbers between the 2 quarterbacks, they're pretty different, right? You got 1,215 yards passing versus 637 and 400 and some yards rushing. Versus I don't know how many Del Rio Wilson has, but it's not 400, right? It's probably closer to like 200. But he didn't start playing until a few games ago. So really their production levels could be pretty close if CDRW had been the guy from game 1. I mean, who knows what he would have done in a full game versus Georgia because nobody really did anything. But still, he's going to need to have a Offensive Player of the Week caliber performance to keep this game attainable, to keep this game winnable, because we've even seen, the defense get a defensive score and still struggle in games. So points are great. I kind of sort of started getting this itchy feeling like it might be a shootout too, but I don't know if I'm there yet. So maybe after we get done talking, maybe I'll get closer to that. but I don't know.
I got a little comparison here for you. Rio-Wilson, 9.8 yards per attempt. Colton Joseph, 9.8 yards per attempt. Carlos Rio-Wilson's got 78.5% completion percentage. Colton Joseph, 65.3. He's got not exactly double the attempts, but he's right on, again, 9.8. So if you were to double Del Rio-Wilson's attempts, he'd have a little bit more attempts than him, more completions, same amount of yards. 9 touchdowns, no turnovers, except for that 3 interception performance against Indiana. You're looking at 12-1 for Colton Joseph. So he's taking care of the ball really well too, with the exception of that one loss. So maybe that plays into this game.
Right. Like I said, Joseph's having a great season. He's just also been doing it from week 1.
Right.
And our guy has not. So I'm not saying one's light years better than the other. I'm just saying the numbers might be a little closer if CRDW had been the guy from week 1 too, but who knows? What's your number 3 key to victory?
Play as a swarming defense without making the mistakes that have killed us. Because we got aggressive in a lot. Think of Boogie trying to take that pick 6, and he just a split second difference, and we gave up that touchdown on that drive. Can't keep missing the tackles like we did at Middle Tennessee State. Cannot keep getting beat over the top like Louisiana did there to tie the game with seconds left. You've got to stop that zone read, high-powered rushing attack. Lunch Winfield came in, like you said. He played in a quarter and a half and put up 129 yards rushing on the ground, and he killed us through the air. And he scored 5 touchdowns, and that looked like a preview of what Colton Joseph could do. We have got to have that swarming, aggressive defense, just not missing the tackles and not getting beat for those big chunk plays.
Yeah, also not surprising. My number 3 key to victory is that I wrote the defense is going to have to pull their weight. They most certainly did not do that against Louisiana late in that game at all. And let's not forget that we're going to be without the services of Jalen Parker for the beginning of this game. We didn't see very much of Cannon Lewis at all in the game against Louisiana. Will he be back? He's not on the injury report. You would like to think he would be. So you're right. A lot of the things, I still love an aggressive defense, man. I think you kind of have to be aggressive by nature to be a good defense. But maybe read the room a little bit better, like you're saying. Maybe play the coverage if you've got no safety help instead of going for that pick 6. I mean, it's beautiful if it works, but if it doesn't, it's 6 going the other way. And I don't think in a game like this, those type of mistakes are going to be able to be tolerated and still be able to expect to win a football game against an offense like this. So what's your number 4?
Well, I mean, you could put this in every single keys to victory we've ever done, but dominate the red zone, keep them at 3s instead of 7s and 0s instead of 3s. But conversely, we cannot leave points on the board on our side. We've got to get 7s instead of settling for 3, and we've got to convert those field goals instead of having misses like we've had a couple of times this year. You kick, and not saying this is the reason we've lost these games, but you kick a field goal and make it in each of those 2 losses that we let get away, we're 4-1. So we have got to convert when it's our time. In a game where their offense is just lights out better than most of the people in the country, we've got to convert. You've got to get those 3s. You've got to get those 7s. There's just no other way around it.
Yeah. I had a feeling that was going to be the type of thing that we were going to talk about as a key to victory, because it's not that points are going to be at a premium in this game. It's just like, I think a lot of them are going to be scored. It's just a matter of, is one team going to be putting them all up or not? But I thought about this and I just couldn't narrow it down to just one more thing. So really all I could come up with was, I don't care about the excuses. This is every excuse is built in to lose this game. They're better than we are at XYZ. on offense and defense, like this, that, and the other, right? But you're going to have to find a way. That's the number 4 key to victory. You find a freaking way, because we found ways to lose games and in heartbreaking fashion, and it sucks. And I know those guys in the locker room like hate it more than anybody else does. But now's the time to really just find a way how to win one of those.
Mm-hmm.
We've let a couple of heartbreakers, one at home and one on the road, both slip away. And now is the time to find a way to win a game, a tight one, a high scoring one, however it plays out. Overcoming turnovers, I don't care. You just kind of need to find a way, because think about winning this game and all the hype that Old Dominion has garnered up to this point in Sunbelt circles, and they deserve it because they're winning. What would that do? What would that say about them and this Marshall team? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that they're giving the herd a standing 8 count right now. They think we're buzzing with stars and birds around our head after that last one, and we know that's just not how football is played in Huntington. You take your hits and you keep on. You're never out until you're out. And this is one of those games where you go in and win against a team where you're a 14.5-point home dog. Holy moly. You win this one and you put some people back on your train a little bit that you could be a team to contend with. You just got to find a way. Who's your offensive MVP for this one?
It's going to have to be Carlos Del Rio-Wilson. You mentioned that he needs to put up a Sunbelt Player of the Week type performance, and if he does that, he's going to be the offensive MVP. This offense runs through him, even though our rushing attack, Michael Allen and all that, I feel like it's set up by the threat of what Carlos Del Rio-Wilson can do, and we are best when he is throwing vertically down the field, stretching the field, hitting Floyd Lacey and the playmakers, and also opening that up for the rush, which we've done a very good job of. But for me, it's going to have to be him on the ground, him through the air. Give me CDRW.
Got to be. If I'm picking him to have a offensive player of the week type performance, I'm picking him to be my offensive MVP. And I can't believe it took us 46.5 minutes into this episode to mention the name Floyd Lacey, because he's about the most electric guy on the field with a football in his hands. And I didn't want to use a key to victory that I used a couple of weeks ago, which was let the stars play, let the stars shine. But you're going to have to see more of that. It's going to have to be the Mike Allen show, the Floyd Lacey show, the CDRW show, and the Toby Payne show more than the last minute of the freaking half, right? So it has to run through CDRW. It has to. He's got to be the offensive MVP. What's your defensive guy this week?
Well, interesting enough, I did not put this as a key to victory, but we need to have some turnovers. You mentioned it. And if you're going to get a lot of turnovers, who better than the playmaker Boogie Trotter? He's got 3 interceptions already on the year, 2 in 1 game. And I think if he were to do that, that would give us a good chance. Hey, the time that they've turned the ball over the most and Joseph has thrown the most interceptions was a convincing loss to Indiana. So if we have a chance, I think that it would have to be someone giving us a lot of turnovers. So I'll take Trotter for that.
It's a great pick. Let me first say that I felt really, really bad, or really, really like I wanted to cop out with this one and say, everybody's got to freaking do it. They've all got to show us something after what they did show us against Louisiana. I think those guys know that. I also think that the biggest, most impactful play that you can get against a team like this, other than a turnover, is a sack, because it eliminates a great passing opportunity, it eliminates a rushing opportunity, and it gets a hit on the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So that all adds up to me to be Braden Ward. It's going to have to be Braden Ward, and I'm going to need to see a multi-sack performance, not just from him, but from this unit. I'm going to need to see 3 or 4 against a defense or against an offensive line that just doesn't give up many sacks. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the great equalizer in this against these guys. If you're not going to turn them over, you need to get licks on the quarterback, and you need to get licks on the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. So give me Braden Ward. Who's your special teams guy this week?
It's got to be Floyd Lacey. We have to have a couple of those punts that we stop their offense. They get a punt and they think, okay, well, at least we'll pin them back, flip the field, and Lacey returns it for 40-some yards and just puts them right back to where we're a scoring threat. He has been a threat to take it to the house. This would be a great game for him to actually do that. He's been finding those seams. He's just been kind of like running out of bounds, because he's run out of places that he can go, or that one last person got him for a shoestring tackle. He's been so close.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can do that in this game, he'd be the special teams MVP.
Yeah, and I agree. This is where he can really, truly be an X factor in the game. Is in the return game, he's been so freaking close. And while we're talking about Floyd and being so electric, I want to give a quick pick me up because I still remember, and I'm sure a lot of guys do too. XTB, pick it up a little bit, man. Like chin up. Yeah, everybody fumbles from time to time. So that one's over and done with. If you happen to be in there to field a punt again for whatever reason, bounce back and you can make a play for us. But if Floyd Lacey is the guy fielding the punts, then he's got the really big opportunity to do something really, really dangerous. He's done it all season long. So I think that's a great pick. I'm going to give a little side nod to Lorcan Quinn. This is the game where he does go perfect from the field goals. And long distance as well. One has slipped away at inopportune times. This is the game where he hits them all. You got a score prediction for me?
I do. My heart says something totally different than my head, but we're going with our head all season long, and I have this a lot closer than Vegas. I have this a lot closer than, besides their one loss to Indiana, that they've had all year. I have us coming so close to winning this game, but just losing it 35-31. I feel like we will contain them. We'll go back and forth in a shootout for a while, and we will come up just short and just not figured it out yet on defense where we need to be for the rest of the season. Now, having said that, I hope that I am so horribly wrong that everybody comes to my house and tells me how wrong I am. And I hope that we win this going away. But right now, I just see too much to overcome at this point with this team.
Well, also the same. My heart and my head say two different things. My heart says 45-42 hurt in a shootout, but I just couldn't get to that shootout, man. I just couldn't get there. But I do like it to be a little closer than what Vegas does. But to me, it's 40-31, Old Dominion. And I don't like saying that, but that's the way I feel like it's going to be. Any final words in this one?
Yeah, we need to talk about the tailgate.
Okay.
And it's going to be a massive one. But for the number one reason, this is when we're going to be doing the drawing for the cheerleading donations that we've been doing. And the winners of that, and if you are listening to this, watching this, you still have until 9 a.m. Saturday to make those donations and show us the receipts from DMs or emails, whatever you want to do. But we're going to be drawing that, and the winner will get 2 free deck passes to the homecoming game against Texas State and a free parking pass for making your minimum of $25 donation. So make sure you get that in. Katie, I'll let you talk about that in a second. I want to tell some more about this. Thanks to Landscaping by Hillcrest, who has signed on to be, yet again, just like last year, every single tailgate, they're sponsoring it. They always say, I want you to make this epic. Well, they do epic on all of their projects that you're going to see. And if you go to landscapingbyhillcrest.com and you see pools that they put in, you see water features that they put in, patios, fences, hardscapes, commercial projects, residential projects, they do it all. And they do it better than anybody else around. Well, that's what they wanted us to do for the tailgate. I'm throwing down another huge low country boil. So that's what we're going to have in this game for this tailgate. We're going to have everything set up. We've got ThunderCast Live powered by ignite.link, where we'll be giving away those deck passes to the winner. Our friends, the Monarchists, are coming down from Norfolk. They'll be here Friday evening. And they'll be there all day Saturday. And we'll have them on ThunderCast Live powered by ignite.link as well. But that's not all they're bringing. They're bringing Justice from the G5 Hive. If you guys want to get some really cool coverage of non-power teams.
There's no great way to say that.
I know. I hate it because I got ready to say the non-autonomy teams.
Yeah.
But Justice and his co-host Luke, they do an amazing job at the G5 Hive. So he'll be there with them. He's an ODU guy, so he's making the trip with them. So they'll be there at the tailgate. It's going to be huge. But also, we have some friends from England that you got to talk to via FaceTime, and Jed and I got to actually go out to dinner with them, and the parents and grandparents and older brother of one of our swimmers here at Marshall, Madison Emmett. And her parents and her grandparents and her older brother will be there tailgating with us. And I just have to say, they told me that tailgating is a foreign concept to them because it is, it's done in a pub over there for a pregame before their football games. Over here for American football, we're right outside the stadium. And they told me that it's not a thing over there because everyone would just fight the entire time. So we're going to have a hell of a time with them over there as well. And I want everybody to stop by and enjoy the food thanks to Landscaping by Hillcrest, but also come over and say hi to all the guests that we're going to have.
Man, that's an action-packed, star-studded tailgate at the ThunderCast tailgate. Remember, that's also open to every Herd fan and every visiting this week Old Dominion fan. And if you are listening to this show as an Old Dominion fan and you haven't found our Out-of-Towners Visitors Guide for 2025, that's posted up on the ThunderCast YouTube channel. Scroll down. I'm sure you'll find it. It's your guide to everything you need to know to enhance your Marshall game day experience.
It's on the website too.
It's going to be a really, really cool tailgate. It was really cool, I got to say. It was really cool to FaceTime with the Emmett family last night and talk to them while you guys were having some dinner. First time I've been the guy on the end of the phone where they go, and I'm going to pass the phone to this person, and I'm going to pass the phone to this person. That was really, really cool. I'm glad they made the trip. I'm glad they're staying long enough to catch a tailgate and have a good time. I mean, you're going to start it off right, get them a Tudor's biscuit before you get down into the tailgating, and then you get the whole Marshall Herd hospitality thing going on. Can't wait to do ThunderCast live and see the Monarchists and see Justice and do this drawing. So I'm going to drive that home. The links are in the descriptions to the all the audio versions anywhere you're watching or listening to the show. If it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever, just expand the description. The links are down there. All you got to do is either click the link if it's a hyperlink, or copy and paste it into your browser. It's going to take you to the landing page for the championship funds at Herd Zone. And it doesn't say, for some reason, cheerleading championship fund. It says cheer contributions. That's the championship fund. Just put your $25 minimum donation in there. Make it when you get emailed your receipt, screenshot it, DM it to us on Twitter, email it to us at thundercast.pod@gmail.com. And you're in the drawing. That's it. Russell's going to draw live sometime around noon. And we hope to possibly have some of the members of the cheer squad there do it during that drawing. But if that conflicts with their schedule, we completely understand. Nonetheless, every single dollar that this fundraising campaign was towards goes directly to them. We were 100% hands off. It went directly into the pockets of the cheer squad and their championship fund. And two lucky fans are going to end up with Dutch Miller passes to the homecoming game and a parking pass with, of course, an invite to the ThunderCast tailgate to top the whole day off. Russ, you got anything else? Let me have it. If not, let's get out of here, man.
Yeah. So whether you see us at the vet, whether you see us at the dot, or whether you see us in the C lot with the Monarchists, with the half of the G5 Hive, with the Emmett family coming over from England for their first big tailgate, and with a low country boil that we're throwing down, all because of Landscaping by Hillcrest. No matter where you see us, we're going to be saying, go Herd.
Go Herd. It's the ThunderCast. We're finally going global, baby. We'll see you guys on Saturday getting a big dub. Later.